The snow fell softly over the quiet suburban street, blanketing everything in a sparkling white serenity. From his sleek black car parked across the road, Michael Harrison, a wealthy CEO in his mid-40s, watched a scene that pierced through the steel walls he had built around his heart. Through the warmly lit windows of a modest house, he saw a father and son laughing, decorating a Christmas tree with ornaments, their faces glowing in the golden light. The pure, unguarded joy of them made him ache in a way money had never been able to soothe. Michael had everything: a towering office in downtown Chicago, luxury cars, a penthouse apartment. But in this moment, he felt a hollow emptiness that no boardroom victory could ever fill. He sat frozen, gripping the steering wheel as memories of his own lonely childhood flickered in his mind. He had grown up in a home where love was measured in expectations and achievements. Christmas was never about warmth or laughter, only perfection and silence. And now, decades later, even the women and friends in his life were fleeting, transactional, or bound by necessity. He realized bitterly that he had never truly known what it meant to belong. For a long moment, Michael simply watched. The father, a man named Robert with streaks of silver in his brown hair, and his young son Ethan, who could not have been more than 7, were fully immersed in their festive world. Ethan's laughter echoed through the crisp night air as Robert carefully helped him hang the last ornament at the very top of the tree. The sheer normalcy of it, the loving glances, the shared jokes, the tiny clumsy attempts at perfection, was almost unbearable to witness. A tear slid down Michael's cheek unbidden as he whispered to himself, "I want that. I need that." Before he could second-guess his impulse, he stepped out into the snow, the cold biting at his expensive coat. He hesitated for a heartbeat on the porch, feeling every ounce of his privilege and his loneliness collide. And then, in a voice trembling with vulnerability he hadn't allowed himself in years, he asked, "Can I join you?" Inside, Robert turned, startled, and then smiled gently. There was no judgment in his eyes, only warmth. "Of course," he said simply, gesturing toward the empty chair near the fireplace. Michael stepped in, unsure of how to navigate this ordinary domestic scene that suddenly felt like a lifeline. Ethan looked up at him, curiosity and wonder lighting his small face. The boy had been taught to be polite, but also to sense when someone needed kindness, and Michael, tall, impeccably dressed and yet somehow fragile, radiated an invisible ache. If this story resonates with you, if you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. As the night unfolded, Michael struggled to shed the weight of his carefully curated persona. He laughed awkwardly when Ethan handed him a crooked ornament, and he nearly knocked over the homemade gingerbread house, but Robert never flinched. Instead, Robert told him stories of Christmases past, of small moments that mattered more than grand gestures, and of the joy of just being together. Michael listened, captivated, realizing that he had spent decades chasing achievements, wealth, and respect, all while neglecting the simplest human truths: love, connection, and presence. He helped Ethan hang ornaments with painstaking care, feeling the tiny hands tug at his own. For the first time in his life, Michael wasn't the powerful CEO who commanded boardrooms. He was just a man, learning, laughing, and being seen. There was a raw honesty in the way the father and son welcomed him into their bubble of light and laughter, a warmth that melted the years of isolation he had carried like armor. As they prepared cookies, Michael noticed the small imperfections in the house, the slightly chipped paint, the unevenly hung stockings, but they didn't matter. The house radiated love, and for the first time he felt at home somewhere outside his own mind. Ethan proudly showed him a handmade ornament, a painted star, and Michael caught himself smiling without pretense. In that moment he realized something profound. Happiness wasn't a trophy or a title. It was shared moments like this, small acts of love and acceptance. The hours passed like minutes, and Michael found himself opening up in ways he never had. He spoke of his childhood, the loneliness, the relentless pressure to succeed, and the mistakes he had made in relationships. Robert listened, without interruption, offering only empathy and gentle encouragement. Ethan chimed in occasionally, asking questions that were surprisingly perceptive, as though children have a way of cutting through the layers of self-protection adults build. By the end of the night, Michael felt lighter, as if a lifetime of grief had been acknowledged and accepted in the warmth of this tiny living room. When it came time to leave, Michael felt a pang of fear. What if this was temporary? What if he would return to the loneliness of his penthouse, to the emptiness of success without love? But as Ethan hugged him tightly and whispered, "I'm glad you came," Michael felt a glimmer of hope. He realized that belonging could start in the smallest gestures, in the courage to ask, and in the willingness to be vulnerable. Outside, the snow had thickened, and Michael walked to his car slowly, savoring the lingering warmth in his chest. For the first time in decades, he didn't feel invisible or untouchable. He felt human, and in that feeling, there was redemption. He knew he would never forget this Christmas, the night he allowed himself to step out of his lonely fortress and into the simple, radiant joy of family. As he drove away, Michael made a silent promise to himself. He would nurture connections, even imperfect ones. He would seek love, even when it scared him. And he would never again assume that wealth or power could substitute for a human heart. He would carry the memory of Robert and Ethan like a beacon, a reminder that it's never too late to be seen, to belong, and to embrace the warmth of kindness. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that second chances exist even in the coldest winters, please engage with this video, like, comment, and share it with someone who might need hope. I would love for you to leave a comment about the moment that moved you the most before the ending, because your thoughts can inspire others too. That Christmas night, Michael Harrison didn't just witness love, he became part of it. And in doing so, he discovered that sometimes the most extraordinary miracles aren't wrapped in glitter or gold. They are found in the simple, unassuming moments when hearts dare to open.